Good morning, everyone. I am Agamemnon.
Good evening, everyone. I am Furious Geo.
We're in two completely different time zones.
We are directly in the same room, but different time zones.
Yeah, it goes right through my apartment. Both of us are with SC2 mistakes. We're going to go ahead and hit the play button. Oh, a little too fast, too fast. Slow down.
Holy.
Slow down.
We are excited.
So this video is entitled, How to Double Your APM Like a Boss. And the reason why we entitled it that, we're going to just switch to my camera, which is a beautiful view, by the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
Look at that ramp.
Shade.
Nice and dark.
Yep.
Yep. Why am I looking at the ramp?
I'm not sure. I can't believe you haven't moved yet.
Okay, so the reason why we
So obviously this is the mistake video.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Whoa, my APM's over 100. Oh wait, no, that's him. That's Dio.
Oh, okay.
I'm at 17.
You're blue.
Horrible.
That's what happens when you look at your ramp for 10 seconds.
Okay, so the reason why this is named How to Double Your APM is actually because...
Construct additional pylons.
Oh, and I'm supply blocked. Because between this video and the next one,
Yep.
I'm actually going to demonstrate a very small, well maybe not a very small, but a few changes that I made to my keyboard mechanics and gameplay
Right. Yep.
that actually allowed my APM to completely double.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, and actually the one we're going to look at next, it's only the first time I tried it. So
You might be able to double your APM just by looking at the scenery on the map. By the looks of the first view there.
So the first tip is do not stare aimlessly at your ramp.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, for this video, because this is the mistake video, we're going to talk a little bit about how I use my keyboard, how I play, and then in the next video, in part 2, I'm going to talk about exactly what changes I made.
Yeah. Now something very unique here. Sorry to interrupt you, Agamemnon.
Yeah, go ahead.
A Protoss player cannon rushing.
Oh, and it's not me.
Oh, and it's not you.
Can you believe it? I'm defending a cannon rush. Unbelievable. So one of the
Quite well, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Hope you guys are enjoying that show, and I'm multitasking too a little bit, so that's not too bad.
You're just checking your ramp out, just in case, every few seconds.
Make sure the
case
shade
it's still there.
Make sure the shade is
The
still
ramp's
going.
still there.
Yeah. So one of the things I used to do, and I think I remember reading on Team Liquid actually, Geo, is making use of all the number keys
Right.
for control groups.
Yep.
So, for example, key number 1 would be my ground army. Key number 2 would be like my stalkers,
Yeah.
for example. Number 3 would be my casters.
Yep.
Number 4 would be my air. Number 5, for some reason, was my mothership.
You usually get a mothership
Yeah,
up?
I put on number 5 because it's like one of those early game units
Yeah.
you're always using. Number 6 would be my Nexuses.
Your Nexuses?
My Nexi.
Nexi?
Key 7 would be my production buildings like gateways, robo facilities, so
Yep.
on. And 8 was my research. You can see how hard it is to keep track. I mean, I can't even barely remember them all. And then key number 9 was a probe that I'd use generally for building.
Move around.
And 0 was my scout.
So you use them all.
I used every single one.
Every one. Wow.
The only one I didn't use is if I didn't build a mothership in that game.
Right. Which was probably rare.
Yeah.
Because you would have always had a mothership.
Oh yeah, that's like your first thing you build, right? So you can kind of imagine, like looking at my APM right now, my average is at 20.
Yeah.
And I was looking through my replays. I don't know. Do you have SC2 gears installed?
I do.
You
Yes.
do?
Yep.
So SC2 gears is really great because in the list you can actually see what your APM,
is. Yeah.
was like in all games, right?
Yeah. I usually avoid looking at that.
do you know what your APM is?
I don't. I think it's around. It's probably around this also.
Yeah,
Around
okay.
the 22, 30.
But why do you get away with it?
Because I'm Zerg.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So, yeah, so my APM's always usually in the 20s, sometimes average into the 30s.
Yeah.
So, in the next video, you're going to see me actually getting an average of about 60
Wow.
APM. And it's you can imagine, like, if you're using, for example, 1 to 0, like 1 to 10, as your control groups, like, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Now, I'll ask you this, Agamemnon, because this is, you're obviously doing a 4-gate, and playing against you, you were very good at the 4-gate. Your timings were pretty much as quick as you could get a 4-gate down.
Yeah, I've got a very fast
So
timing,
it's not, this is not a...
No, it's been delayed.
A lazy build.
No. It's a very precise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fast build. I am delayed though because
of
I
the
had
cannon
to handle
rush.
the cannons.
Yeah, but it's not that you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
not
exactly what you're doing. Yeah.
exactly. So my APMs are not low because I'm sitting here thinking, what should I do?
Yeah.
No, this is a build that I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just my mechanics are holding me back.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that I really want to kind of drive home with this series of videos, is that you guys might be actually doing something or playing a certain way that is holding you back. And I think that's something that I discovered. I'll give you a really good example. So if you guys are watching and you have your keyboard in front of you, try to assign a control group to 0.
Okay.
Can you do it with one hand?
I got big hands.
Okay.
But no.
Other than the freakishly large Geo, can any normal human being? Okay. So what I was actually finding myself doing is taking my hand off my mouse,
Right, and then
holding control with my left,
Yep.
and hitting the 0 or the 9 or the 8.
Yep.
Right. Sometimes even the 7.
Yep.
So, and that takes, how long does that take? It's like first you hit control, then you reach over, you press the button, then you go back to your mouse, right?
Yep.
That takes time.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, I do tend to use those 8, 9, and 0 keys.
Yeah, and so did I. But
Yeah.
when I kind of looked at some of my replays, it almost seemed like I actually only used half of the control groups that I was assigning them, but then not even using them.
Yeah.
Because for my army, I only had the attention span to use my army that's on 1.
Yeah.
You know? So
And you might not even ever have an army that is 1, 2, 3, 4, even on the field.
Absolutely. Even the even some of the pro players that we've watched, for example, at the NASL, their army moves in one big ball.
Yeah.
And
then they separate.
Yeah, but I don't think they have a whole bunch of control groups for every single unit. Right?
Yeah.
The other thing that I used to do is because I was using the control groups from 1 to 0, each number was assigned to a type of unit, and only to that type of unit. So, for example, 4 was, let's say 3 was a caster, right?
Right.
So, like, I would only allow myself to put sentries or high Templars on 3.
Yeah.
Whereas, if I was a little flexible,
you really need to throw that force field down there. I just want to bring that out. That's a critical moment with that zealot coming up. You are very protective of your ramp.
Yeah, I love that ramp. I've been watching it right since the beginning. Don't touch
field.
Don't touch my ramp.
Boom.
Am I doing a little scouting down there? Yeah, I think I am actually. Wow.
We get to see what our demon player is doing.
Not to mention the fact that his APM on average is at 70.
Impressive. I can only imagine that it's he's got quite the army. Although he's not that far ahead of you. I assume he's got a tech.
We're actually not too far apart.
He might have a tech advantage.
He's expanded.
Yeah.
Faster than me. We're going to keep the APM tab up because I just want you guys to see.
I'm doing drops. Prism play. Yeah. Very annoying.
Like, look at that. I mean, I'm at 22 and I hit 200 there.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. But it drops down any other time.
Yeah.
You know? What are some other things to talk about? The other thing to talk about is, and I know this is something that you don't do, but let's say you're looking at your army and you want to select all of the stalkers.
Yeah.
Or if you're Zerg, you want to select all the infestors. The way I would do it was I would hold control, and then I would right click. Left click on the unit. What that does is it selects all of that type of unit in your army composition. Right. There's a faster way to do it.
Is there?
Double click.
Double click it.
Yeah.
Selects everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, what I was finding was that it just took me time to reach over, press Control, then with my mouse, click on the unit. But we're so used to just clicking frantically, right? Like,
yeah, just click them all and...
Yeah, just double click and it's going to select everything anyway, right? Oh no, I've told you guys some of the solutions to my problems before the next video.
That's okay. Give you the wrapper before the candy.
Chew on that delicious wrapper.
I noticed that you just warped in 7 centuries. So
I don't know
impressive. I don't think you have any other army, but you now have 7
let's
centuries.
take a look at the units. I do have an observer.
You have an observer.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an observer. But again, I you know what? I'm all about the ramp.
Yeah.
I am all about my ramp.
Save that ramp.
Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that army size. Oh, brutal. Anyway.
I have a feeling this might be coming to an end shortly.
Yeah, this is going to end really soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about using too many control group keys.
Yep.
It just takes too long.
And you kind of touched on it a bit, but understanding just the mechanics of the game.
Yes.
Right? How clicking responds to units and so on, and we'll go into a little bit more detail in that second video.
Yeah.
But just kind of understanding the makeup of it, and it can really play to your advantage.
And when one of the things that we really want to bring out in our next video, and we'll talk to you guys about that, is we were at the NASL Grand Finals, and we actually got a chance to really watch the pros play.
Yeah.
So in part 2, we're going to really talk about what we saw and how I was then able to use, just learning from watching them play, how we were able to copy their mechanics and double my APM.
Double your APM?
Yep. So I'm going to GG very soon. I think... did I put that force field down? No, you did. Oh,
well played.
I feel so bad for myself. But I shouldn't feel bad because look at the APM spread on that. This guy's able to bench press a lot more in StarCraft 2 than I am.
He is.
He's
probably
got bigger
with one hand.
Bigger pectorals. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So thanks for watching part 1. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with part 2, and we're going to show you how to double your APM like a boss.
Like a boss.
See ya.
Hello viewers, Furious Geo with SC2 Mistakes, and I get to introduce the video. Yeah, with me is
Agamemnon. Thanks for watching, guys. We're in
SC2
part 2.
Mistakes.
Yeah, I am also with SC2 Mistakes.
Still.
I think we've overcome our time zone boundary. We are now...
I think so, yep.
Do you have sound? Oh, sorry. I just had mine turned down. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, I have sound.
Yeah. There was a probe appearing. I heard that.
Yeah,
so I
heard
think
the
we're
probe.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, time zone. We moved over slightly. I think the sun set, so we're good to go.
And we're sitting closer together.
We are.
Yeah.
Not too close.
No. I might put my arm around you once or
What
two
beverage
twice,
are
but
you engaging in this evening?
I am rocking the Creemore Pilsner.
Creemore Pilsner. I will soon be having a Creemore Pilsner, but I am currently having a Mill Street Organic.
Very nice.
One of my favorites.
Good choice.
It's very good. It's very good. So we're in part 2 of how to double your APM like a boss. And this is the correction.
And if you take a look at the top left, you can see my average APM is in the 80s. Woo! Oh, smoking hot.
Big difference. Because the last one was 22,
22.
I think?
Yeah.
And you also notice that this is not a ladder match.
Right, so this game was a practice. This is actually the first time that I've been trying my new mechanics.
Yep.
So I kind of wanted to do it just against a computer.
Yep.
Just to see kind of how it works. And you can see
so you're practicing your spam?
I'm practicing my spam. It's interesting. You know, some people, if you ask them, like, you know, do you spam APM? Some people say, no, don't ever do it. But one of the viewpoints that I've heard that I actually think is really smart is it's like warming up your car.
Yeah, I've heard this before too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, you go into a game, you're not, you know, especially at the beginning, there's very little to do. So sometimes it's good just to get busy doing something so that you get your APM up. Like I was up at 200 there for a little while, right? Get your APM up so that you're warmed up and you're ready to go for
you could easily do an APM you probably can't do any more real actions than 20 at this moment.
No, there's
But
probably just not that much to do.
when you get into the game, that's just no good anymore. Right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
Would you say that that's tip number 1?
Tip number 1, write it down, people.
Write it down. Blanket statement.
Spam to warm up. Yeah.
Everybody must spam.
No matter what race. I think day 9, I'm not sure if I remember the number correctly, but I think he said you need an APM of over 40, I think it is, to basically effectively be doing all the things you need to do. You know, like, I mean, you got to think of the multitasking you're doing. You're going to be building probes, you're building production buildings, supply, army, research, managing your units. There's a certain, like, no, it's not super important what the number of your APM is, but there is kind of a critical mass where if you're not above, say, 40, you just simply cannot get done all the things that need to be done at a certain time. You know. So the question that you're probably all asking is, how did I double my APM?
That's what I'm wondering.
So,
because nothing looks that different to me.
No, it doesn't. And you'll notice that even when I was not spamming, I was still above 50. You know. So basically, me and Geo, if you guys want to go to our Facebook page, I'm probably gonna do a little overlay picture here for you of TT1. He is a Canadian Protoss player. He is on, I think he's on Root.
He's on Root, yep.
Root?
I believe.
I'm pretty sure he's on Root, yeah. And he's an excellent Protoss player. He's a Canadian. He's a stand-up guy. And I got a chance to really watch his play, and what I wanted to know is, how do pros use their keyboard?
Right.
And I don't know, for some reason, Geo, but I've looked all over the internet and I can't seem to find an answer to that question.
Nope. I haven't looked, but I trust you.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find... Like, I've found suggestions, but everybody has a different opinion.
And it's usually pretty easy to find things on the internet machine.
Yeah, usually on the interwebs.
The interwebs?
Yeah.
The thing the kids are all using?
Yeah, the cool kids. But that is something I've been having a hard time with.
Right.
Because what I really want to know is, what do the pros do mechanically that I'm not doing?
Right.
So watching TT1, I kind of wish I could show you guys, but maybe, again, if you're in front of your keyboard, put your hand with your baby finger on the 1. Okay, so put your hand on the 1 on your keyboard. Now picture your hand not moving from that position for the entire game.
Right.
That's the way TT1 plays. Like, I'm not saying his hand doesn't move, but I'm saying it does not go past, like, from 1 you can maybe reach 5, 6. I don't need, like, 7's a little awkward. But his hand literally stays in that position the entire game. So that led to my question. How do you use the control group numbers 7, 8, 9, and 0?
Right. Because you were using all of them.
I was using all of them. Yeah. And the conclusion, the answer really is, you don't need that many control groups.
Right.
So just put your control groups from 1 to 6. I think that's what they do, because it seems like they're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
The
one thing they do is they hide their control groups.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see in this game, I don't even have my control groups visible.
So when we were watching them, we didn't even see their control groups.
No, we had to look at their hands and what they were doing. So it looked to me like all he was using was control groups 1 through 6. So for you guys, I'm going to give you a real simple suggestion. Control group 1, your main army. Control group 2, your scout, your scouting probe, or your observer, or an air unit.
Right.
Okay. 3 is a caster, be it a ground caster, an air caster, anything like that. 4 should be your main building, like your Nexus, your lair, your command center. Sorry, what did we were at 4.
We're at 4. 5.
So 5 is your production buildings, and 6 is your research buildings, and that's it.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And if you're Zerg, you do not even need a button for your production buildings.
So the way I do it is, I have my army on 1. I spread mine out, but I really don't need to. So I have my army on 1, my hatcheries on 6, my queens on 5, and my...
oh, okay. So
my upgrades, my tech buildings, whatever they would be on 8 or 9, whether that be a spire or an evo chamber.
Yeah.
So really, I could just shift those all down.
You could condense them down
because I do not use any more than that.
So if you're a Zerg player, let's say this. Let's say you're a Protoss player, and Control Group 5 is a production building. You don't need that as Zerg, so make 5 your queens.
Yeah.
So again, 1 is your ground army, 2 is your scout or your air units, 3 is a caster, 2 is your base building, 5 is your queens or your production buildings, and 6 is your research. And what you'll find is because you just don't have to assign control groups to everything, it's a lot faster. Your hand doesn't have to move as far.
That's the biggest thing. Your hand's not moving now.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. You're that much faster, right?
And so, is that the only change you made here, Agamemnon?
No, there are some other changes, and unfortunately, we got to the end of this game. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, but I am going to talk for a couple minutes because I got a couple really quick things that I think also made the difference. We spoke also in the previous game about using your control button too much.
Right.
I made that mistake, and in this game, I almost never used my control button. And that might actually seem weird to some people, but watching TT1 play, he never touched his control button. You know what he did? He used Shift.
Yeah.
Now,
and that's kind of what we said too, is understanding the mechanics of the game.
Exactly. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how the Shift button works?
From my understanding is if there isn't anything assigned to the key,
to the number,
whatever you're going to make the control group, just shift clicking it assigns it to the control group.
Right. Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So if there's nothing assigned, instead of doing control 1,
you can just do shift.
You can do shift 1.
Yep.
And what does it do once you have the control groups assigned?
It just adds to it.
It adds to it. Yeah, that's right.
And if you want to take them off, then you have to start using your control.
Exactly. So very simply, we've got an army here, right? Let's say I want, and I haven't added yet, I want all my stalkers, and I want to add them to control group 1. So what I do is, you don't hold control, double click your stalkers, hit shift 1.
Shift 1.
And suddenly your stalkers now will be part of your entire number 1 army.
Yep.
The only time it seems that you need to use control is if you make a mistake and you assign perhaps a building that you don't mean to a control group, right? In that case, then you'd have to select the units you actually want in the control group, hit control, hit that number, and it will reassign.
Overwrite.
It'll overwrite. Exactly, yeah. So that's a big change. Use the shift. Try not to use control as much as possible, the control button. If you want to isolate units that are in your army,
just double click.
Double click on them.
Yep.
It takes half a second.
Yep.
Okay, it's very easy. The other thing that I did, so the shift button. The second thing is using tab. So when you have an army that's completely selected like this, and you hit tab, what it'll do, and you can see what I'm doing here, you can have your entire army on one button.
Yep.
But if you want to get to their special abilities, you hit the tab, 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 tab. So I can have everything on one button. I can throw down a force field. I can tab over to my stalkers, use blink, and tab back to my my sentries, right?
Yeah.
So again, this is because
sometimes what happens is when you're in a battle, you can't double click. Maybe
it stuff's too fast. Right?
Yeah,
it's hard to see.
Just a big square, tab through.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that is actually faster than having them all separated onto different control groups.
Yeah.
It's too much to manage for people that are at our level playing.
Correct. Very cool.
I've got one more tip.
One more. Last one?
Actually, two more.
Two more.
And they're really quick.
Okay.
Put your keyboard...
Drink lots of beer before you play.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me, but... it helps my casting, though. It helps my video making. Put your keyboard on grid.
Yep.
Have you done that?
I have.
Okay. All right. I've made.
So if you haven't, it needs to be on grid.
Yeah. Do it. Having your keyboard on grid. The way you do that is you go up to options. You hit F10 hit F10 in Starcraft, and then don't go to options, go to hotkeys. And in hotkeys, choose grid. And what grid will do is it'll assign all these what's called command card keys on the bottom right. It'll assign all of those to the left-hand side of your keyboard. And you don't need to... It doesn't matter what race you're playing. You don't need to know what the letter is. All you need to do is take a look at the command card. Don't click on it. Take a look at the command card, and that's the location from Q, W, E, R, T all the way down to Z
Yep.
for all the actions that you want to use. That will allow you to keep your hand on the left side of the keyboard at all times.
Never move.
Yeah, don't move. The pros don't.
Nope.
They do not. That was one of two, and now here's the last tip. If you want to go between bases, let's see if it'll do this. No, it won't. Hold on. How you like that?
Alt. Or is that your you set that as your hotkey?
Yes. So in StarCraft, if the backspace button actually functions as it'll cycle through your main base. So if I hit backspace, I'll go from my main base to my other expansion,
right.
And if I have more expansions, it'll go to all of them.
It'll just go to all of them.
Right? So what I've done is, in StarCraft, you can reassign the key.
Right.
Because backspace is on the right side of the keyboard, you want everything on the left.
So you just assign it to Alt.
So assign your backspace to Alt, and that way you don't have to move your hand.
Perfect.
And actually that brings me to my third and last.
Uh-oh.
My third and last. Okay, so the other thing I used to do is I would have key number 9 as a builder.
Yeah.
Okay? Big waste of time. If you want to build something, hit the Alt button now that you've reassigned it. Yeah, just hit the Alt button, grab the probe, build.
Yeah.
Don't assign a builder to a number. It's just wasted time.
Yeah.
Just hit the button, grab them, build. Yeah. Any tips? I think that's all I have because
I even learned a couple things there, so that's fantastic.
Oh, cool. Glad it was educational for you as well. So guys, that doubled my APM. I went from being at about 22. I mean, I know here I'm at 44, but the game's over, so I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But the
I think it was up to 50. I think you were 57, 58.
Yeah. SC2 Gear said it was around 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my APM's almost tripled.
Perfect.
So, really quick recap. Keep your hand on the left side of your board. Use grid. Only use hotkeys 1 through 6.
Yep.
Tab through your units so that you can get their different abilities.
And assign your backspace to Alt.
And use your Shift key instead of your Control key as much as possible. Because it's such a stretch.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise.
Perfect.
Anything
I'm
else
ready
to
to
add?
double my APM. Let me tell you.
Hey guys, let me know how it goes. If you try my tips, leave some comments in the comment section. Please like, please subscribe. We have a contest up, and we have more to come in the future.
Yeah. And there should have been an Easter egg in this video.
Ooh, yes. But
So,
where will it be?
Where will it be? I don't even know.
Hopefully you guys were paying attention.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys, have a good night. Thank you very much. It's Agamemnon signing out.
Furious Sheehan saying goodbye.
Did you say Gian?
Gian? Furious Geo. How many beers have I had tonight?
See you guys. Bye.